What is up, Total Excellence dudes? It is your host, Ichthys, for tonight, and I'll be coloring this piece of Clayman. I mean, this piece is amazing, and give a shout out to Clay Legs, which he's going to be my co-host for tonight. I'll be interviewing him, and we get to know more about Clayman and maybe other stuff, just to get to know more Clay on his journey as a content creator, and then into the indie comic space. So enough of my talking. You guys are here to not only watch me color, but also here to let me talk to my guest, Claylex. What's up, buddy?
Oh, hello.
How are you, bud?
Oh, pretty okay. Tired, but okay.
Yeah, from all the streaming from today.
Yep.
Nice. How long do you stream for?
Just like 2.5 hours.
Oh,
But
okay.
pretty gods are good. It's pretty
Nice,
good.
man. Yeah, man. So, as far as I know, I'm gonna turn my face off because I
Hmm.
gotta convert my my was it my hybrid of a laptop, which I can
Yeah, of
convert
course.
it to a tablet. So it's fun. It's fun. Um, but I remember you, Clay. I met you through the Drawn Talk Discord back in 2018, and like you showcase your character Clayman, and I'm like, holy crap, dude, who's this guy? I need to know more about this character. And we got to talking and stuff that's beyond even like your character Clayman, and getting to
Uh-huh.
know you as a creator as well. So I mean, how is it, man? Like, what came first when you got into this space? Like, were you a content creator, or you started doing
Oh yeah,
comics?
I was doing. So this was back in yes, this is like 5 years ago. Back in 2018. So I was like, uh, 2 year. I think 2 years or more. No, a couple of years more. But I was still doing the YouTube Twitch stuff,
Hmm.
and my friend Brett McGowan, who does Changeling, um, definitely still one of my more favorite indie books that he made, created. He says, "Oh, he was gonna make this comic back when we were doing like War of the Apocalypse, like tabletop RPG stuff." And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I was like, "Oh, I want to get into it," because I saw stuff like Jack Irons, I saw Death Sworn, and I saw Tom and Artie, those kind of comics back then. And I said, "Oh, I'm
Hmm.
gonna give it a shot at myself." So I hired first stage we kind of did back in 2018, 2019 was hire um this really cool German kid a while back, like that I did, got the first few steps in for Clayman. It was pretty tight, and I got around maybe two free piece of art from him, and then after that, unfortunately, never heard from him again. Don't know what happened to him, but hope he's okay. Then
Hmm.
after that, I met with um my good pal Jacob, who made his own comic, The Good Blood. He's from Polish, and we all know Poland's like badass. They made some really good comics on their own right. Of course, they
Right.
made like the Witcher series and all that stuff. But I actually won a an art contest from him, so I got a free drawing of Clay, and that's how the hooded costume came to be.
Mm.
And I always give him credit. If people ask like, "Oh, how'd you come with?" It's like, Jacob came up with the design. He wanted to do a hooded costume for Clay, so it's like that's what we did. So technically, the non-hooded costume came first, but Jacob brought the hooded costume into fruition, like
Wow.
immortalized it. So that was pretty cool. Then I started like going around trying to get like a feel for what I wanted the costume to be. I I sometimes went to like very small local unique comic conventions,
Hmm.
whatnot, in over in Jersey, and I met with this other guy, Christian. That Yeah, he was really cool. I can't remember the comic that that was like, it was kind of, I think it was like back in when he was working with Alterna
Oh wow.
Comics,
Okay.
and yeah, like it was like this 4 or 5 short mini comic series. I was like, yeah, you know what? It's like I want to see if I can get him to draw a Clayman, like make him. At the time, I thought like, oh, he'd be cool as like a Clay's artist. So we talked. I paid him to do like this really cool picture of like Clay holding up a Jeep, whatever. It's like still one of the coolest pictures I got of him. He got all the details right, and kind of again I got the feeling. I thought, oh, this is it. But then
Mhm.
he got super busy working with Turner. We kind of like went our separate ways after that. Then went back to just like paying to like make that was kind of when like the popularity started to, I feel, really hit, and it was really cool. Then we got got to working with like these scenario picks and all this other stuff, that it got really popular. But then I met with Sunny. She was the artist for Tom and Artie at the time, and I was like, oh, I want to like finally do something, make my first like comic. Then of course that's when the fruition of the one shot came out,
Mhm.
and after that was done, I met my good friend Nicholas, who's the artist for and creator of Demon Hunter Raven, and he came up with me. He's like, "Yeah, you want like do some crazy? We should collab." And I don't even have the first issue out, and I was like, that was insane to me. So I was like, okay,
Wow.
we'll give it a shot. And the first comic, I feel like we did like was a surprisingly massive success. That was like very surprising. Then it's like we fast forward a little bit. We got another book out, some other stuff. I got my first successful, like, not only Kickstarter but also my Indiegogo. I did as well, and then we did some other books. I think I got like another book done. Then I was starting to get like, not that I was getting bored of claiming. I wanted to like expand on what I could do in my writings. It was like, okay, so I'll make this other book called Sins, and
Mhm.
that was nice to do. I'm still working on the side comic of that with my friend Mo, and we're about almost 3 pages done, and then after that the side comic will be done, and then I'll focus on like side comic number 6. That'll be, if I can get like the artist I want. It's like, man, I feel that one is going to blow people's minds over the quality of that artwork. But and then working on with some other stuff, that'll be fun. And then but obviously people were asked like, you want to go in the bread and butter, you want to know um, how I got Ivan Fiorelli, aka like one of the more surprising Italian artists that work under Marvel. And
Yeah.
I'll
Right.
just be under the straight and narrow. Like, look, um, I saw. Let's see. I was looking through, I think, Tapis, that I noticed this really unique like comic about this guy that like, kills gods and whatnot. So it's like, okay, this is really cool. Then I
Mhm.
saw like Ivan that had Twitter. Then I saw him like all this like Marvel art that he was trying to like, that he drew to try to audition to be an artist there. I was like, okay, he's cool. Like, wouldn't be harmful to show off Clay, get like commission him and all that. And after he drew like Clay in both the hood and non-hood costume, I'm like, I have to get him. This is really, really cool. And we struck like a bond friendship, and then like
Mhm.
I commissioned him, and I feel like everyone fell in love with this style. Like this, I felt was like the definitive style for Clayman, because it got that 80s 90s edge with a bit of that like sketchy style to it. And that's exactly what I wanted for Clayman. And we got about, in terms of production, we got about 16 pages done altogether. Page 15 is basically almost done. It just needs to be colored.
Right.
But after that, it was like a period of a few years. We hit like once I think like we hit like page 6, 7. Uh, the It's like, oh, Ivan made the big announcement that he was in Marvel, and I said, oh, is this going to affect Clayman's production? And we kind of like went over it again and again. I think we were like, oh, at first we didn't think it was going to, but then after like all the like cool books that Ivan was drawing, I was like starting to get a little worried, and especially like if all came to fruition once like the last 5 pages, he was like it was taking months for him
Oh
to
wow.
produce it. And granted, it's like his rates are expensive, but I was like,
Hmm.
oh, don't worry, I could pay for it. But again, it was becoming more of a time issue than a money issue, in my opinion, that came to it, and ultimately, um like yeah, a week, like a few weeks or so ago, I was like, okay, I need to take a step in a different direction. I know people might be a little ticked, at least from my point of view, but I was like, look, we're only done like this amount of pages, and I think people are fine with it because it's still I'm still a bit small, fresh on the scene with this, even though I've been in the game for like 5 years. I think I should be fine. And then what happened was I made the announcement, and immediately, like really weird, immediately people said, oh, get this specific artist. He's really good. Okay, Carey. And I was like, okay, I'll give them a shot. And,
Hmm.
I paid them, made this cover, and the rest is history. I think people like now want Carey to do all of Clayman as the new official artist. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. We're still like I said, right now production wise, we got the cover done.
Hmm.
We're gonna get a page done. In this case, we're gonna as like amongst Clay's pages. I think I wanted him. We both agreed to do page free. Like everyone, because I was like, funny enough, like I told Ivan to do page free first, so that'll be kind of a funny coincidence.
Hmm.
But then after that, we're probably gonna do like two more pages, but like more like scenario pages to see like to push Carey to see what he can do beyond other stuff. But yeah, basically the rest is history. Just gonna get that done. If
Hmm.
if you'd ask me also what's would be the future in store of how like this would go, and I would say, oh, it's simple. Like I think once I get this done and I get my good friend Taylor, who's like personally in my opinion one of the best fucking letterers in the industry, to
Right.
make the logo, get all the lettering done. Definitely gonna try if I can to do a uh like either probably go like Kickstarter first or then go Indiegogo first, and then like then just switch it out later to get the
Right.
yeah. It's like everyone totally would want to be excited to get do me to go crowdfunding again. It's like certainly I feel that I succeeded a bit in the last couple crowdfunding campaigns I did before, so I'll give it a shot. The only thing I feel disappointed in, and it's just more myself, of course, is um a mix of I guess like I'd say a time thing. Definitely, like I got the
Right.
quality. I feel sometimes I had to resend the books. That's fine. It was just more like I felt
Oh, excuse me.
too.
Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
that's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's like I felt, oh, it was taking too long.
Hmm.
But that was it. Really.
Right. Oh man. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. No, I remember. Honestly, I felt like Nick was. He had the privilege to do pretty much the comic for Clayman and Raven. I remember too. Like funny enough, like when I saw Nick do a crossover with your character, I'm like, my gosh, man, it's like two worlds colliding with each other, and like the color scheme with them, it just matches so well.
I know
And
it's so great, man.
like the funny thing too is like, like ideally with the color schemes and all this stuff, like ideally red means this is an angry character, and he's all over the place, and then with blue it's always used as something that's calm and divine somewhat. And once I got to know both Clay and Raven, those color schemes are so total opposites of what you
Yeah.
know. So to me, it was just a great introduction for your character and Nick's character of Raven. So I mean, I had a good idea of like what those characters were, what the universe is, and how they mesh between each other too. Because even with Raven, like his world is basically futuristic as well. So it's like it just matches so well with these characters. I'm so happy too that you guys even did like a part 2 of the story, spoofing the
I know.
Power Rangers. Oh my gosh,
I
dude.
know Nick was like ecstatic as far as I remember. He wanted to work on that story, and because it added in, I think, two of his favorite kind of things, pastimes to watch, like with him and his kids. I think it's Kaiju and Power Rangers, and I thought, hey, this is a really cool concept, and I think it works. It works for the both of us, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, no,
Because
definitely.
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
because
Go ahead.
what is it? You got to really think about it, right?
Mhm.
Because see, this is why I love comic books, because you make a hero villain dynamic, and you come up with all these like crazy villains to that feel they'll make a challenge for the hero. And I was like, yeah, and it's okay to like it's okay to like make a heroes of villains, like almost make them similar, but sometimes it's
Mhm.
okay to just go ham with it,
Right.
make it like it is.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. I mean, honestly, like, I and honestly, like, I think you're like maybe the only creator I know so far in the indie space where like you had like crossover with another indie title, and as well as you even did a. I remember you did a campaign too. Did you do both Kickstarter and Indiegogo, or just
Yes,
only
I did.
Kickstarter? Okay.
Yes, I did. I think I did Kickstarter first, and then I did Indiegogo first.
Yeah, definitely. I always notice too, man. Like you're so great with like having good relationship with artists, and even when you lost Ivan, like you had like a group of network of people that recommend you with another artist.
I
Like,
know that was like, man, I was surprised how fast people wanted me. Like, yeah, uh, please get this person. They're really good. Especially what's the guy's name? Casper, who works on Quarantine Zone C, one of my favorite indie zombie um comic books. Recommended. Like, I'll give credit to him. He's made some incredibly good advice over the years, and I feel out of all my fans, he's the one that's been pushing me the hardest to like keep working on Clayman. And I'm like, believe me, I want to keep working on it. It's at the time, of course, it wasn't a money issue. It was like, oh, I have again, it was strictly a time issue.
right? Yeah, no, definitely, man. Yeah, so it's like, and even too, like when you got Ivan on board doing the first issue of Clayman, as far as I remember too, um, like he had this really cool art style where like it had this Saturday morning vibe to it.
Yep.
And then once I saw him, like I guess you were testing him out to see how um, just to see like how he would interpret your character. And my gosh, dude, just that alone, like, and this was around my time too when I was learning how to color. And once I saw it like in black and white, it's like, oh, I got to take advantage of this.
Um, and like that is probably one of I still have it. That's still probably one of the best colored pieces you ever drew that specific year.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's same with this one. You were like, as soon as you saw like that piece, like just like when it's almost like the flashback like years ago, and you're like, dude, I gotta color this. This looks so good.
Yeah, man. Like Clayman, like I gotta ask you, dude, like how could you think of like I know that you talked about the jacket design, which you credited the other artists, but like how did you even thought of like the suit design and make sure like it's so simple but it fits so well?
I know it still baffles, right? It still baffles my mind, even five or so years ago, that like I came up with this, but it was mainly like at the time, yeah, in 2018, there was like I was now starting to get back into comics, and then also starting to get back heavily into manga and anime. And I was like, and yeah, like I'm trying to think, My Hero Academia was starting to like basically get out of the cradle like via season one of the kind of like the anime. And I, right, as I was trying to it's like I knew what I wanted to do for it, but I felt like, okay, there's like one character or one piece of inspiration I need to get this right. And then as soon as I saw Deku's like first the homemade costume, I was like, yeah, I think this is it. And after that, I was like I said, the rest is history. Yeah, they my first artist was able to get like everything it is. Yeah, sure. There, I feel like the first design we did with that, it was definitely got more of the Max feel. The small was much more wider, crazier, less controlled, restricted like it is now. But
Right.
overall, I think like um it and especially with Jacob, like it um I felt like yeah, that's how we went with the first levels of design. It kind of was like sinister, intimidating, crazy, but now it's definitely more controlled, friendly. Maybe still has that a little bit of intimidation, but once
Mhm.
people get to know the character, it's like that's what Clay's ideal is. Yeah, you can even say what an All Might thing is like, but in a different approach. He doesn't want people to be scared of him. He wants people to be like when they see him, see that mask, they know it's like him, and they want him. You know, they want not to be afraid of him. You know.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I think that was like, I think that's something that I don't see a lot of superheroes. Besides, before My Hero was a thing with
Yeah,
an
before it became
anime.
like super big, of course. Yeah, back in
Yeah,
like
exactly. Before,
2017, 2018.
yeah, like I honestly would never ever see a superhero with a smile, especially like something like that where anything like let's say the Joker and like its bombs are always like smiling is something like instead of something being positive, it's an intimidating thing like of a threat. There's something that's positive or wholesome, and you just somehow turn that or switch it around into something that's positive, that's something that is superhero like, that like yeah, like first thing I've when I even got to see Clayman of his inception, I thought like okay, like he looks like a threat, he's mocking you in some way shape or form, but like once you explain to me that yeah, no, like once you get to know this guy, like he's honestly like trying to be a positive force to be reckoned with.
No, and then what is it? And then it's actually like I think like too another thing that people always keep asking me at the questions like, oh, how are you I'd say connected so well? And I'm just saying, take it from my buddy Rags, aka the creator of like the like in my opinion, once again, another amazing like indie zombie comic book. Rags
Yeah.
kept like telling me, of course, about how connection works. Hell, again, I want to thank him because I feel he's the one that helped so much with my first Kickstarter, like because like honestly, I feel if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to get my first Kickstarter successful in. But man, that was nice. I think I made like I can't remember, it was a while ago, but I think I made at least $500 from that at least. But obviously, costs and stuff had to go back to making the comics, which was fine. I didn't mind it.
Oh, okay. So, and also too, man, like now that this is back in production, like, do you already have like artists in mind that you want to do variant covers with?
Good question. Oh yeah. Hey, Miss Rex, how's it going? Thank you for stopping by. Um, let's see. That's a good question. I know there, like, believe me, there are already people trying to line up, and then there's like, they want to be like, yeah, a variant cover artist or like a concept artist, those kind of people. And I'm like, I totally get it. I just got to make sure it fits my budget and all that.
Yeah.
Get the money in. Like if you guys like do want to support me, Itchy has put down my link tree, and so it's got like my comics. It's got I think it's got my PayPal too. So if you do want to donate, there's that. Usually, most of the money goes straight back to getting these comics produced as fast as possible. Of course, I got the Patreon too. You guys get that in early as well.
Yeah. Also, too, dude. Like, yeah. So, what advice did the creator gave you about like networking and stuff like that? Because you're great with networking. I mean, just your Twitter followers
say.
just shows.
Yeah, it's like that's what people say. They're like, you're really good at networking, but sometimes I'm like, I feel it might just be me, like a me issue. I feel I don't, I don't. It's either I don't network enough or I don't feel confident in my networking. But people say, nah, you network really, really good, and I'm like, and I know like Twitter, I know is like my best platform. I got like 3.2K followers. They're probably the biggest platform. I mean, like, right? I mean, some of them could be bots, of course, but still, 3,000 people like look at my account and actually like look at my stuff sometimes and liking, replying comments. Like, it's just incredible. Not to mention the amount of like artist friends that I have. It's just amazing. But it's the way, at least how I do my networking. I always try to like maybe show my stuff a couple times a day if I can, especially if I was running a crowdfunding campaign. Yeah, take it from me, as Rags told me, like if you're going to shill your stuff, like especially crowdfund, do it especially on Twitter, do it like 3 times a day. That usually helps out a lot.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind whenever I start tweeting. 'Cause that's a great advice. I'm terrible with social media and stuff like that. It's like I don't know. I honestly use my Twitter just as a platform to like be a billboard for my indie comics creators and stuff like that. Like I'm just honestly, I don't mind being a billboard, but there's this thing where like you know, you just gotta build a network and value with yourself whenever you're on social media, since it's the biggest, at least as how I see it. Like I just see it as another way for you to like how you did it, like network with other creators, get to know individuals, whether it be you know even people that are not even in comics. They could be writers or doing movie scripts or stand-up comedians, like someone or somehow that you network with, they'll know somebody that will get you to that individual to reach your goals.
Uh-huh.
So
I'll get to it. It's like before I forget, if anyone like new comes in, like I said in the chat, if you do want to like ask me questions or want to keep the conversation going, by all means, please do. Like it's nice to keep the thing going, like in before whatnot. Itchy finishes the color piece as you try to show my buddies at least once in the working. Yeah, it's like I like X because X like if I ask him to like retweet my stuff, he always does it, so that's nice.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. I recently found out when he was on Larry's stream, which is Niobe Comics. I found out recently he's a Florida man, so I was like, oh,
uh,
we're gonna be best friends then. So I gotta hit you up, Mr. X, about your comic since it relates to things that I like, whether it's be Super Sentai or Power Rangers. I will definitely would hit you up. Let me try to see what Mr. X says in the comments. I try shilling my buds at least once in the weekdays while working. That's 3 times a day, but may prove it useful when it comes time. Yeah, dude, definitely. I mean, yeah, it's true, man. Mr. X is like the hype man for indie comics, dude. Is like I would not even know any projects that is live unless they see Mr. X's tweet or promoting a book, and it'd be something that I would like. So, but yeah, dude. I mean, what other projects does it? I remember there'll be Sins, and then there another one like Pony Heroes,
Pony Warriors.
Pony. There you go, Pony Warriors, and then Interdimensional.
Well, yeah, that one is like Dimensional Warriors, and then I got DW Chibi Adventures. That one is like I'm what is it? That one I want to like that might be a little bit delayed and whatnot. I'm trying to like make sure it's not like a once again possibly not a money time issue. My artist is going through a bit of how should I say it, like while being polite about it, mental decline. I just want to make sure she's okay, because she's not been feeling mentally well, I'll say.
Right. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, because like too, of course, like look, you can hear from me. Look, if my artists aren't okay, even if they're getting paid whatnot, I was like, look, if you need to take a break from IRL stuff, like, or if you're not feeling mentally well, then take a break. I don't mind about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Definitely.
Yep, exactly what Mr. X said. Those are the comics I'm working on. Like I said, and trying to remember. So what I got? Well, yeah. So working on Clayman, and then like issue 1, the soft art reboot. Do not worry, we're not going to do that's. I think that's a little thing. More like me. Not everyone is a little worried about, but do not worry. We're not going to be changing the plot line or the writing, all that. It's still, of course, going to be written by me. It's going to be an improved read by my buddies. Was it yet Drew and Mercy, and that's about it. Like basically, like I said, Carrie's just gonna like redraw most of the pages, and then he'll get started to work on page 16.
Mm-hmm.
Like once he's done with all those pages. But other than that, yeah, like Sins are working on the side comic. Pony Wars, I still don't. I still love like Pony Wars, the concept of it.
Yeah.
Oh, hey Dale, how's it going? But what is it? Pony Wars, like I'll still I would at least want to try a one shot. I know that. I know I'm still like I think like this. Because of how well of the soft art reboot is, I might do like soft art reboots for Sins and Pony Wars as well. Dementia Warriors, I don't want to try to do like a soft art reboot. I have an artist in mind, and Monica, like she's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, I met like the I didn't met her, but I met like one of her like writers to a comic she was making. It was really nice.
Okay.
But yeah, I think out of all the um comics, I feel because like honestly at the end of the day too, I don't like to make the appeal of like because like it's like because I've been for the discords and all that. Look guys, I don't think like if you just want to do this for the money, just get out. Don't like do comics, because really it should be fun. Just like how I do streaming too. Because if I think about it with money, then
Right.
I'm not gonna have fun. Because I tried to think of that like in the money approach. It is streaming, not exactly comics. I never ever went through a stint where it's like, oh, it's not making me money. And I got depressed, and it sucks.
Right.
Because like, yeah, when you do like that, it's like honestly, and like just again, take my advice. Like if you're gonna do like that, like, oh, just get a usual job. It'll help you out, like get a
Mhm.
little bit of money revenue you could save up to use for that comics. Um because you know, there's a not gonna name names, but it's like I was warning a former friend to not use his money. I think because unfortunately he was using I think his rent money for for his comic, and I'm like,
Oh,
dude,
jeez.
dude, I understand you like your comic, but you gotta like use that for your rent money. And then he ended up having to move back to his folks. Ugh, it was like
Wow.
kind of embarrassing, honestly.
Right. So he basically took the risk to make that comic, and like, what was it? Is he just trying to do some pages done, or to like
Yeah,
go
I think
on?
that was it. Yeah, he was trying to get pages done. The comic wasn't even done yet,
Okay.
which I was like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, definitely, dude. It's unfortunate. And I noticed too that are you like I guess like rebooting the logo for Clayman as well?
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I had the old logo is still in, but oh, hey Neil Star, how's it going? But the the one thing, let's see. Yep, the one yeah, because I'm like Taylor, like I said, Taylor's cool. And I was like, yeah, because I planned that like out like years ago. That I'm like, okay, he's going to be the letterer and he's going to do the logo. Right now, like I said,
Mhm.
he usually prefers I do the pages first. You do, yeah, you get the orders to do the pages first and the cover, and then I'll do the logo and then do all the lettering. Yeah, it's more expensive, but at the same time, hey, it's just a one-time payment, so no need to worry about like
Mhm.
getting all the stuff done.
Right.
But it's all good. Yeah, I think me and Itchy are doing good, Neostar. I was running on this morning. I was only running on 2 hours of sleep, but thankfully, I was hanging out with my buddy, and there was a cafe. There was like we went to this really nice Cuban barbecue place,
Nice.
and we went to later a cafe, and they served like really good coffee there. So I was like, I drank it, and I felt good. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, no, definitely, dude. I'm down here in South Florida. I am no stranger to Cuban cuisine, so
Yeah.
I love Cuban coffee, man. It's literally liquid crack. I,
It's
I
like if there's two, in my opinion, if there's two countries that can make like the most like make you awake coffee ever, it's Italy and Cuba.
right. Okay. I gotta try
Yeah,
Italy's coffee
because
then.
Cuba's like right is more the natural stuff. Like basically they're the kings of the black coffee awake coffee. Um what is it? Italy, I feel they're more the kings of doing like espresso. Yeah, coffee,
Definitely.
nature's liquid battery. Yep.
Yeah, no, man. Um, so like for like your comic, right? Are you continuing it, or are you basically starting it from scratch again?
Oh, in terms of Clayman, like I said,
Hmm.
the art is being rebooted. Don't worry.
Okay.
We still got the scripts and all that other stuff, so we're not going to just throw them in the trash just because we're changing the art style.
Right. Right. So then,
Oh, it's like not you. It's like sorry. It's like oh, I never had Cuban or cream barbecue, bro. Try both of them. I've had this oxtail Cuban like kind of thing dish.
okay.
So fucking good. Yeah, so
Wow.
fucking good. It was the first. It was actually like the first hangout I ever did with my friend too. It was like, oh, and thing that sucks too. That specific restaurant closed
Mhm.
down.
No way.
I know, but thankfully, right, that again, like I said, that barbecue place is Cuban, so at least we got that now, you know.
Yeah, definitely, man.
It's like funny too. Like my friend knows everybody in that restaurant, and like I know man, like first time I entered, they were talking about like Invincible season two. Uh, and let's see, but yeah, Korean barbecue as well. I know a really good Korean barbecue spot. Great
Mhm.
food. Take my advice if you ever go there.
Okay.
Obviously I don't want to dox myself about like specifically where it is, but yeah, if you ever go to so and so place, they you definitely take a shower and change your clothes after, because right, it's one of those cook your own Korean barbecue places.
Okay.
So the steam will just hit your face and then hit your clothes, and you'll smell like Korean barbecue basically.
Wow. Okay. So it's that. So it's that strong of a scent.
Exactly. Very good, don't get me wrong, it's just that's the only con to that restaurant specifically.
Right. Yeah, man. Look, dude, I'm loving it. Like coloring characters is fine with me, but my gosh, man, I'm just struggling just coloring the building.
I know,
Because
it's like that's another good question. People were like, "Oh, so what's the that's a good like my friend Casper made a really good question about like, oh, so what's the like between you and Carrie, like why did you guys decide to make it like um kind of the more bluish neon, I think, look to it. And I'm like, oh well, I think Clay's just jumping around in Robot Town, and that's like one of their biggest like color schemes to go in. I'm like, I like the idea of, see, that's what I love about Fatorka in general, the city that Clay lives in, and you know, Fatorka, Wisconsin, is because it's in four like huge splitting districts, and each of them have their own kind of twist to it, you
Mhm.
know?
Right. And like Fatora, like in the world of Clayman, like I remember what reading the as far as I remember, like Sunny's comic when you publish on the webtoons, like you have like
You know, the
yeah,
way yep.
yeah, you have humans, you have plant-like characters, you got animal hybrid characters, and I think it was robots. So I mean,
Yep.
you have like a class of like characters in this futuristic world.
Yeah, I think I hit a really good like four race species like combo to like go off of between everything.
Hmm. I'm surprised you
And
didn't do
yeah.
dinosaurs or reptiles, kind of like how Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z world is like.
Yeah, it's like yeah, I always like the idea. Well, like in that one, it was like it was a weird time period thing. The reason like animals were in, as far as I remember, was like, oh, they were like genetically altered, like military soldiers and all that.
Wow.
This one is like, at least if I explained it, how it worked was like around, I think it was like around 20, what was it, 2016 or 2018, the time period, like assuming 100 years before Clayman. It's like this huge like evolutionary explosion just blanketed the planet, and that's how like, oh, animals and plants like super evolved to become more humanoid, and then you had even like technology like advancing intellect so much that it was like almost like that of AI, and you know, that's how it kind of started and everything.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's I always keep like forgetting that Invincible is almost 20 years old. Like that's you know, like I you know, you wouldn't figure from its a show that it's not that old, but if you read the comics, it kind of is.
Yeah, definitely. You could tell by how they colored the comic and like basically the growth Because I think it's like what, like in the early 2000s, right? When Invincible became a thing, like when they did the
Oh yeah,
comic
like
book.
2000, 2003 when
Oh
it
my
was when
God,
it
yeah.
first started.
I was in
Yeah,
freaking middle school around
yeah. I
2003.
was, I was. I'm trying to think. I was like maybe. Yeah, no, God, I was like 7 when that came out.
Wow,
Yeah.
we're old,
Well, of
dude.
course, yeah. I'm 27 now. Like, it was
Right.
like, yeah. So I was 7 when that came out.
Mhm. Oh man, man, comics. Am I right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no. Even like as far as I know, like I remember I was watching a like one of these document videos and whatnot of like when Kirkman was working on Invincible, and like his story structure is very like I think it was like a golden age or silver age where like like something crazy is gonna happen once you get to like issue 26, and I think it was Eric Larson who told him, no, not even Eric Larson. It was another one. It was a creator of, uh, oh my god, I swear, man, I swear, I'm
Yeah.
gonna like look back at this
Yeah.
interview and
If
be
you need
like,
to like look it up real quick, I don't mind.
yeah, no, I'm
Well,
definitely gonna look it up
mhm.
now.
Let's see. Yeah, I was gonna say like I don't mean to go on I guess like not a rain or tangent. No, it's not that bad. It's just like
Mhm.
um let's see. Yeah, because I feel 2003, 2004 was hitting just like with the 90s in comics, we were hitting like a new like different style and approach to comics. We have like yeah, like as Neo put out, we had Marvel Civil War, we had Invincible coming out, all these like
Mhm.
interesting, almost unique like arcs and new superhero stories, you know.
Mhm.
Hell, like I think we're getting that back again, like Image, like I spent like oh god, it's like I need to get into right, I need to get back into Radiant Black because that god,
Oh
that
my
comic,
god,
man.
yeah, dude.
It's like, and I mean this positively, of course, even though I sound like oh it's negative, but it's like, God, dude, that is like, as I read it, I know like people said, but fuck them, I don't care. It's like, dude, that is like, it takes me back to when I read Invincible, and I'm like, yeah, this is the new Invincible for me. Like they got
Right.
another golden goose here. That's why I
Mhm.
respect Image so much because they almost like they almost super like almost little bit like almost like between my thumb and my finger never fail with their comics. I mean they put out banger after banger of of a new comic book series. I mean we got Spawn, and then of course we got Invincible, and then we got these other um comics I can't come up, I can't remember off the top of my head, but man,
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. So the dude who gave Robert Kirkman the knowledge to, yeah, don't wait till 26, just do it now. And it was Jim Valentino. He was the one who gave
yeah,
him like just pull the trigger because it's too long, and as well as like the sales for this book is not going too good. So whatever it is, just pull the trigger. And he pulled it, and it's basically Omni Man betraying his own teammates, and everything just goes out of hell at this
I mean
point.
seriously, like yeah, like at the time, I felt, in my opinion, Kirkman and what was like the other comic artists, yeah, Ryan Otley,
Yeah,
those
dude.
two were like the strongest fucking team I'd ever seen for an like not an indie comic. I apologize. No, for like a superhero comic book, and I've seen some good combos between the writer and the artist, but Robert and Ryan were like unstop, not invincible exactly, but unstoppable. Oh, let's see. I'd love to see more Claymans. Well, yeah, I try to like I see I again I feel Fatorica is definitely like a melting pot, as you guys saw in the like beginning pages that Ivan put it in. I thought the whole when I first came up with it. I I went through the script about 3 4 times, like, okay, how do I want to introduce this? And I decided to go the introduction of like an infomercial where you know those old infomercials where people would try to advertise specific cities and all that stuff. I was like, oh, I researched that, did that, and I kind of in this one I did with this infomercial, I just appealed it more to children. And
Okay.
I was like, oh man, this is perfect. I think like if I remember, I kind of like also took like in I looked at Sesame Street and
Okay.
basically like a lot of puppet shows, and I kind of did that positive spin on that. So that's how we were able to do it. And you know, represents it's like, oh, we got to represent the four main races and give it like a spin on what's going down.
Hmm.
Yeah, see, gone for Invincible at least twice now. Honestly curious how the show deviates after nearly 2 decades. Yeah. Of course, I'll say the only reason I haven't had my cast director is due to the story taking place longer. Alan the game would be dead. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. I think like that's like another two main reasons why people wouldn't want to crossover Clay. It's either like because it either takes too far in the past or too far in the future.
Hmm.
Because you know it's like the 2100s. You know, it's like a very specific time period, or like, oh, you know, they just don't want to break their canon, which is totally fine. You know,
Yeah.
and it's like speaking of canon, it's like breaking the canon like Miguel,
Yeah. Right.
but um, I remember like um I know like people are always scared about like, oh, if their comic is not too original. I was afraid like when if I ever when I was working on DW Chibi Adventures, I was afraid some people would maybe call it a ripoff of the Spider Verse, which I'm like, I totally understand because they use the same concept where they go to interact with people from different dimensions and then go to said other different dimensions to fight villains. And
Hmm.
you know, I'm personally I don't think it's I think it's still a very fresh concept. Marvel, I know, dipped their toes in it, and it's for now it's just like I feel it's spider people. They're not really using other like, yeah, they're getting people from our dimensions, but not like making it too overly different, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, as far as I know, like alternate dimensions and like I don't know, at this point, like everyone has alternate dimensions at this point. Like even Power Rangers at this point even
Yeah.
got their.
Hell, like look at Invincible. Look at Invincible season two, dudes. And that was another thing I was scared of because, like,
Mhm.
right, is like my main villain, Dimensional Man, yeah, is a kind of course, quote a dimensional like being that can like access to and use energy from different dimensions, travel through dimensions, etc. I'm like, oh shit. As I'm
Right.
watching, right, Invincible season two, it's like, oh,
Hmm.
you got this dude. It's like, oh shit, he can do um he's got that power too. But thankfully, like I researched him as like, okay, that's all he can really do. I still feel Dimensional Man is still like mostly much original compared to him. I mean, the dude's just like mostly human with like a later becomes kind of right a mutant because he
Okay.
gains the knowledge of all his other dimensional counterparts. This
Oh
one is
wow.
like much much different than him.
Hmm.
Let's see. I also remember Resume will cross over mind, kind of like how TNT and Mortal Kombat have like other realms, dimensions that can be visited. Yeah, I heard Omni Man is pretty broken in Mortal Kombat One. Yeah,
I
like
literally
folks.
watched. I literally
Yeah,
watched. What was it? All the roast sessions that Omni Man would say, and all of
I
the
know.
cast
Like
of Mortal.
he's perfect. He's perfect. Every down to the minute detail. Like let's say like folks filling the role of the characters having no relation to anybody else. Yeah, like people trying to like they're trying to say that right,
Mhm.
and then they're trying to say that with the whole Peter Miles Morales thing, but it's BS. Miles is cool. They're never gonna like not convince me otherwise. Of like, oh, he doesn't fit in the Spider Verse. Like, nah, he's cool. He's been a consistent character since 2011, 2012.
Yeah,
Like he's like
definitely.
at least an 11-year-old character, man.
Yeah, exactly. I was honestly surprised how quick of a character that he has built over the years. Because honestly, most new characters like Miles, like they don't even come to fruition. Like maybe in the next 40 years until they feel like yeah, like we'll use this character, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, man, like there are just so many characters. Like I want to even jump back to when you were talking about Radiant Black. My God, man, like once that writer who did like the writer who even thought of the creator for Radiant Black, like I've known him since his run for Power Rangers, and he did such a freaking great job, man. I mean,
I know,
he,
and
he
yeah,
basically created like his own version of Infinity War, but in Power Rangers universe, and I'm like, my God, man.
I know, and all the books that connect to Radiant Black are really good
Mhm.
too. And I think originally, funny enough, people when people saw the mainline suit for Clay, it was very much like, and honestly too, if people said, "Oh, he looks like a Power Ranger," honestly, I take that as a compliment. I'm like, "Yeah,
Oh wow.
have you seen it? The suit's fuck." I think like too, and I know people prefer the hooded costume, but I that mainline suit, I'm like that is to me a perfect fucking costume.
Right. Yeah, no, it definitely is. Like honestly, man, if you ask me like which costume I like more, it's the hooded costume. But even then, like even the main costume for Clay, it's just so clean. Like I just don't know how the heck you even thought of such a clean design because you know how many years it takes just for them to even like think of a good simple costume, especially something that memorable to even like think of without making it look super busy, you know?
I know that's my rule when when you make a character from the future and it's like, oh, think of a costume. It's like, take it from me. It's like, try to keep it clean and simple, because like, look, they don't, especially you don't need to like jam them with Iron Man like armor or parts. There's no need. They literally, again, are from the future. The costume material, parts and whatnot should be simple and clean, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, honestly, like, why would you thought of something such a simple design, especially if it's like a character from the future? Like, why don't you give them like some super high tech design, along those lines?
And then yeah, I was like, that's a good question, because like I know various people did make like a Clayman like armor, and they're like, yeah, some of them were pretty clean. Yeah, keep it simple, keep it sleek, exactly. Yes, I do remember Tournament Steel, and I'm just as surprised that I was able to like get third place in that tournament, even though Clay was um I feel bad because like I felt like I people liked me more, and I was like, I tried not to at the time use my popularity to try to like win off votes, even though, like I said, some characters I feel like way more powerful than Clay that he was matched up with, but he made it somehow.
Hmm. Yeah, man. That was another thing too. I remember that tournament thing, and it was mostly just like basically like I think it was superhero beatdown. Is that even like yeah from Bad in the Sun, where it's just mostly like fans voting, and I think it's just the same thing with that. It's just mostly focused on OC characters,
Uh-huh.
and I mean, man, gosh, now man, I'm just getting flashbacks of all the Bad in the Sun videos, especially with JDF. But yeah,
Yeah,
no,
those
it's
guys.
it's 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 honestly like a fun little thing where a community of other creators, whether it's indie or even like those that just like to create for fun, they get to like share their characters. And I think another thing too is like I think it's just open opportunity for getting to know other creators. And I felt like I think in the tournament, like you gained more followers when you joined that tournament thing.
Oh yeah, totally, totally. People were like, "Oh, who is this dude? I wanna know this guy." And then that was like one of the bigger reasons too. At the time, my Twitter grew.
Hmm. Yeah, man.
Um,
Yeah, I'm having such a blast just coloring
yeah,
this, man.
yeah. I remember the boiler robot. Yeah, it's what is it? It's like yeah. Take this with a grain of salt because it was a very long time, and I'm trying to remember. But I think they may have blocked me, but I'm not sure. Very long time. Yeah. Yeah, it's like I can't quite remember why,
Hmm.
but it's why I bum Arcane Deputy Russ. Oh yeah, Arcane Deputy Russ. Like especially like God, Russ Unbreakable Iron Ranger. That is such a good comic, man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Just silly time all around. Yeah. I don't I'm almost 3 years to 30. I think I'm pretty much I write at least like I'm in one of Sakashi's tournaments actually, but I'm just like what are the term pros? Like I just write for it. I don't actually draw or anything like that or hired an artist for it because obviously like because every time I tried to join and then hire an artist, it's either they didn't do personally what I wanted or it was like too expensive, which makes sense, you know.
Right.
But it's okay.
You know, definitely, man. I mean, yeah,
Oh yeah, totally.
I remember Russ. Like, funny enough with him too, man. Like, I would see his art hopping off around like super popular YouTube videos that they would just hire him for like whether it be just art or maybe like I don't know if he done a comic, but I know for a fact I've seen his art around like big YouTube channels whenever they commission him.
It was kind of like he started off small, and then I got to see him like grow to like have like thousands of followers. I was like, damn, and he still follows me too, and I'm like, god damn. Huh.
Hmm. Is he still doing his comic?
Oh
The
yeah, he is. He just made like I'm trying to remember. He just finished off it's on Webtoons. He just finished like a little small chapter. He's gonna do more later this month or next month.
Okay, gotcha, man. Yeah, I'll definitely check out his comic and give it a read.
Yeah. He's got his store open too, so that's good. I mean, heck, I don't know how. Like, don't ask me. I don't know how, but my global comics has been shooting off really good. People have been yeah, like watching it, getting into it, reading it, and they've been paying me. So I'm
Oh
not global
wow!
themselves, just people buying the comics. I got like $50+ so far in donations alone.
Holy crap, dude!
Yeah, I know. I was like, yeah, do not ask me. I don't know how it blew up, but that's good. It's gotta be like somebody just like spread the word, whichever.
Right, definitely, man. Damn, that is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know with Global Comics it's success because since like um, Comixology basically just hit the fan once like
That's why I was like, right. We were all like kind of pissed off with one new platform. Global Comics came in. We were like, oh yeah, this is great. You know.
yeah, no, definitely, dude. It's like at least like Global Comics, like when it got started, it's like the platform was just perfect because like one, it's it's easy for people to read the comic. Two, like whenever you tap, like it makes you feel like you're turning a page of the interface
Hmm.
as before even the app even popped, you know. Well, once the app popped, I think comics Global Comics took advantage while they were developing their app was to contact these big publishers, even Antarctic Press, which you know I'm proud to say that the Flock comic that I worked with Scott over the past like almost 3 years now. Like we're gonna get published in Exciting Comics with the first issue of the Flock.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm excited. It's gonna be
I
next
hope,
year of
yeah, I hope
spring.
you get like I could be wrong, but I hope I'm not. I hope you get paid for that.
Oh no, definitely. Of course I got paid. No, trust me, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, art, like, yeah. If you don't mind me asking, like, or legality and all that, but like, so how much did you get paid exactly? And like, oh, are you going to get paid for every comic sold, or how's that work?
I mean, I don't want to say because I would, just for uh just to keep under the rug because again like I don't mind like I'll tell you my price off air like how much I get paid but like on stream like I don't want people to get the wrong ideas like oh well this and that like I've had an idea like
Uh,
of like usually like when I got started like I was charging like $36 for a flat rate just to do pages or maybe even a cover. I mean, I'm willing to like lower my price because again, like I'm green when it comes to like coloring and stuff like that. And when I was learning how to color, like I was taking like Kurt Michael Russell's coloring was it like coloring courses on Gumroad. So and like there was at least some point in the video where like oh where to get hired, like what website to go to and what expectations you should have whenever you do these coloring commissions because people would usually charge like 20, you might do 25 or $20 rates. So
mhm.
and I'm like okay like you know I
Yeah,
don't
it's like yeah, because right, I feel in my opinion, next to sometimes lettering and all the other stuff, I feel colorists kind of have like ridiculously low price. I'm like, you can raise it, it's fine.
right. Yeah, I mean I think the highest rate as far as I know, if you're like in the industry or whatnot, I think it was like $80, but that's
Uh-huh.
depending
Yep. Like
on
70, $80 would
yeah, like
is
around
usually your
there.
rate. Yeah, if you're
That
like
really yeah,
yeah.
and that I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all I was saying. Is like, oh, $70, $80 is the rate for it, you know.
Yeah, dude, and like yeah, no, I can always like I seen other artists like and in their own right like they charge differently like oh like flat colors or like like painterly or airbrush and mix with flat colors like yeah like at least for me as a mind of a colorist like I know if you're doing like flat colors of how I'm doing with clay like but I'm gonna be doing some mixes because I love to mix around with like cell shaded look to it with some airbrushing especially with characters that are red. Oh my gosh man, I'm gonna like blow it up with the lighting mixing it with orange and it just gonna make his costume even more badass.
Uh-huh.
So and I do that all the time, whether I be coloring Spider-Man or Deadpool, just for fun. But yeah, man. I mean, honestly, like my rate is like $36. Like I don't mind saying it then on, but like if I'm doing like colorings from other projects and stuff like that, like we'll talk on how what the budget is, this is that, and I'm willing to like at least with Scott, like I can trust Scott because I've worked with him and we have a relationship and at a point like we're friends now where it's like okay like I mean he even raised my I remember like when we did issue 4 like he raised my my what's it my page rate when I did issue 4. So I mean with Scott
Yeah.
like he's a great dude like again like he's the type of guy that he will pay you for your hard-earned money. It's not going to be like those other guys where oh well you know exposure or I'll pay you
Yeah.
when how the campaign is gonna turn out. It's like no.
Yeah,
So
it's like I feel like yeah, you'd be surprised how many people like art in general, but yeah, you'd be surprised how many people get pissed of like, wait a minute, you're telling me you get paid to just color a page, and it's like, oh yeah, there is such thing as like as colorists, and you'd be surprised like
mhm.
people think the artist does this and the color sometimes like no, It's two different jobs.
Yeah, definitely. Hell, they even hire flatters so that way it'll make the colorist's job even easier too.
Yeah.
Um, as far as I know, dude, like I mean, I'm pretty much happy with coloring than anything else because, like, I have a background in graphic design, so I have done like things like T-shirts, posters, flyers, even books. So I have an idea, like, okay, what colors that I know for sure is like, if you look at this at the screen, your expectation is what's gonna look on the paper. And I always seen people who are learning coloring like, and I can understand like it could be overwhelming with all the variety of options you have, and this is that. And for me, dude, just don't go super saturated colors because then that's when you're gonna hit a wall and you're gonna feel overwhelmed. It's like don't use high saturated colors, especially like I know the toughest ones I see people mostly struggle with is the color purple,
Oh
and
yeah.
and yeah, definitely don't. And I know that people would hate. Like I remember one artist who is also coloring the book. Like there's this alien character, and the alien's color skin was purple. So it was like, oh man, you're gonna have a fun time with that one. But
Yeah.
yeah, like with that, like coloring isn't so tough as long as you do your homework on like what like the words itself, CMYK, like cyan, magenta, uh, yellow, black and white. Just pick colors that are close to that, and you know, again, just get your feet wet, just print your own stuff and all this stuff. And I mean, that's my advice when you're getting into jumping onto this. And I'll be surprised, man. People hate coloring, and this is coming from a dude who hated coloring when he grew up as a kid. Because whenever I color, like automatically, I already regretted it.
Yeah, because it's like you have to remember that at least like on the digital like color and whatnot. Like once you color something, it's like that's it. Like you can't if you mess it up, it's like that's it. Like you have to start all over again if it overlaps on a character or something like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let me see. What does Mr. X says? Coloring, much like drawing, is a skill. No, definitely. I totally agree. Coloring, lettering, even creating logos, everything is a skill. It's like how are you gonna price yourself, and how long is it gonna take you to as, establish that price, especially if you do like bigger projects and if you work with bigger companies and you establish yourself as a brand, then you can honestly price yourself however you wish, and that the clients that you gain are good and okay with you paying that price of how much of a value you are. So let me see. Yeah, coloring pages is not nearly as simple as people think. I should know. I had to color my own drawings for years. Oh my gosh, yeah, dude.
Well,
Yeah, that it honestly is not easy. I remember like there will be a common thing, especially those that are learning coloring, is like they don't know what CMYK is. I didn't know either once I got out of like freaking college to studying graphic design. And I know like literally like my way of like preventing it is if you just color under CMYK just to make it more easier. So like I have already the expectation what's gonna look like once it's printed. So but I have seen other colors, other methods, like they literally colored with RGB and with Photoshop, like there's ways where you can still keep the RGB colors even when you make the switch to CMYK. And I was like, holy crap, dude. It's just incredible.
that's always like nice when what is it? That's always nice when you're what is it? You have like your team right, and it's like oh I could do this skill too. It's like oh thank God. and no, it's not because like, oh, you're cheap and like, oh, you don't want to pay. It's just like, it's just good, you know. You can focus the money on other pursuits, you know.
Hmm. You know, definitely. I think too, like, I don't know. It really depends on the artist as well, because sometimes too, that I've noticed, because Larry's a great example, because like I got to see Larry, like how he made Niobe, and like there are artists that are great doing penciling and inking, but they're not great when it comes to coloring.
I know. Yep. Yep.
It's crazy, but you know that's why you sometimes as an artist you got to do a trial run on yourself and see like what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. And like there was one artist in particular in his series where it's like, oh, like I can color, I can color this cover. It's like, okay, like let me see you color it. And then like he's seen his version of how he colored his art, and he's like, okay, well, I just hired my colorist to color your cover, and this is what the colors did for your art. And like automatically he's like, okay, yeah, the colorist wins,
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy for, honestly too, is like it's easy for someone to focus on one thing than multiple things. Some artists are very gifted to doing most things, and whether it be penciling and inking, I think that's such a great combination because you just feel like, you know, the artist's true art is still there, you know, than just having like hiring an inker to ink over the pencils of an artist. And what is your artist's name again?
It's like Carrie.
Carrie. Okay, and Carrie's gonna do both the art and the colors as well for
Yep.
the.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yep. Which I was like, okay, so like originally I was like, okay, the like process is okay, but then like once he got to the line art, I was like, oh god, this is good. Then it goes to the coloring stuff. I was like, oh, this is really good.
Hmm.
Especially we were like fun wise, right? We were trying to like, okay, what's like a good idea to do the mirror effect, and we kind of do like an in between faded and non-faded. So that was
Right.
kind of cool.
Yeah,
Um,
that was a fun process that you got to share with us in real time.
I
And
know.
that
And it's like there was so many hilarious moments too. Like, oh, what? Wait, oh my God. Yeah, wait. You were the one that thought that Rob was a woman. Yeah.
yeah, man,
Uh,
I
you
was
want
just
those? Oh,
so
that's a dude.
focused.
It's like, oh, it's like you're. It's like that. It's like what's that meme? It's like she kind of bad though. Is that Frost? It's like that was you.
I know, man. I was just so focused on Clayman when you were asking, like, oh, like, do you want it faded or non-faded? And I was like, I was on, I forgot what was I doing, but yeah, I was at work when I saw it.
You're working like, hmm.
So then I was like, oh my god, like Clayman's back in production and whatnot. And then, you know, it's like I was just sharing my expertise and whatnot. And then it's like, yeah, like let's, have it faded if this chick has any importance in the story. And then I get a reply back from you saying like, no, that's Rob. I'm like, oh my god.
Uh, oh hey, oh Razor Sword Ninja. Lots of ninjas appearing.
Oh wow. Yeah, right. A lot of ninjas
Yeah.
here in this chat. What's up, Razor Sword Ninja? This is the first time I see you here in this chat, but
Yeah.
thanks for coming by here in this stream while I get to interview while I'm coloring this Clayman piece where I'm honestly having a lot of fun.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, yeah, man, Clayman is back. I just realized his glasses aren't there. So
Yeah, and they were added basically like kind of, you know what I mean, post production, like
Right.
during the coloring process.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, no, it's all good. I got a good idea, like where exactly should these
Hmm.
glasses are gonna be. I mean, at least it's not as bad as like at least some colors. Like sometimes these colors have to fill in like some blank spots that are not even there, that the artist like didn't even like add into it. They just have the colors just figure out like what the heck to color, you know?
Uh-huh.
Let me put glass. Actually glasses before I do another one, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, dude, I mean yeah, man. Sorry, I'm just blanking out.
No,
But
that's fine.
yeah, dude, like honestly you have such a fun character that there's just so much potential when it comes to um story wise, and like you have such a fan base that is so dedicated to this one character, you know. It's
Yeah.
just insanity to me.
Yeah, especially the amount of fan art I got over the years was insane too.
Yeah,
Oh, hey,
man.
it's Rhomboids.
See, Rumboids. Man, I'm
Uh,
getting a lot of new people.
oh,
I definitely know it's from you.
yeah, Rhomboids is definitely one of basically my boys, like
One of your
one of the
boys.
guys I work with. We were actually working on like for funsies. He does like a lot of like Marvel redesigns. I was the one we were working together on like a Sentry redesign. It was like
Okay.
really fun because he had no idea about Sentry, so I just basically just splurged everything I knew about Sentry onto
Wow.
Rhomboids.
Yeah, man. I honestly didn't know about Sentry until like you brought him up in like one of these I think it was like I don't know something, but I looked up Sentry and I'm like, holy crap, he's basically an evil version of Superman in an Marvel universe. So, and I just feel like he's so underused because there's just so much potential to even play around with that
I
character.
know. Well, the thing that I like about him is that it's very interesting concept with him because it feels like um almost sometimes it almost feels like psychological horror almost of uh the Superman backstory. Like basically, oh, what if we gave like a mentally ill man the powers of a god? That's basically what Sentry is in a nutshell.
Okay.
Was he the one who did an MCU version of Clayman? I do not know. I do have um a few let's see. I do have a few like versions of MCU Clay, which is like like I know it's supposed to be a joke and I appreciate the art, but man, at the same time, like if someone actually did this, I would choke a bitch. Yeah. Because it's like, you know, of course the suit is overly complicated and stuff. It's like he's from the future. He doesn't like his what is it, his hooded costume aside, yeah, his costumes are way like simple, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, and for MCU, that's gonna have like textures and all this stuff, and oh my gosh,
Yeah, is there?
I
Let's
don't
see.
know. It's like Spider-Man is just Spider-Man. It's like you don't need to add any textures into his suit, but you know,
I
let's.
know, if
let's
anything, it's like I
mhm.
don't like the one thing I always like vouch of like to make it good with his costume is like try to keep the web pattern in if possible, but otherwise,
Mhm.
yeah, no, his costume is good.
Yeah, man. And what are the? I don't know if I ever even asked you this question. Like, what was the influences behind like Clayman? Like, what was the inspirations or superheroes that
Oh yeah, of course.
basically
I got
molded
like I
him?
got like a few main ones that I know. There's of course there's there's Spider-Man, like the Peter Parker one, and the Miguel O'Hara one. There was a Terry McGinnis's Batman Beyond, the Max, and then there was Deku from My Hero Academia.
Hmm.
Oh, let's see. This is a good question. Have you ever decided to work in errors design or plot element? I think like without spoiling too much, is like I did one um when I was working on the first script, I introduced like have an AI helper companion for Clay, and my editor proofreader said, "Oh, this is a." I think actually at first they didn't like the idea, but then I said, "Oh, I'll introduce her early." Sorry, no, later, and then it was like then they kind of like relented and was like, "Okay, that seems to be fine," but otherwise, yeah. Um, what is it? Another thing I wanted to do was um I
Mhm.
had like one of the main like buddy characters for Clay actually become like a kind of more of a smart conniving supervillain, but then I changed it more to like an accident gone wrong type supervillain. More like people like the Lizard without Kirk Connor's intelligence, those kind of villains that would Clay would have to face.
Mhm. Okay.
Hmm.
So have you even like I think the only thing too that I think as far as I know, like there's always like this hulking version that I remembered when you've commissioned Ivan. Like there was this hulking character that as far as how I would interpret it, it's kind of like how Clayman gained his powers, I'm guessing, you know?
Yeah, it's like Clay gained his powers via the mutagen wave that basically was like a giant wave of like gas.
Okay.
Like the one that you saw, yeah, that was actually based on like the Hulk ride in Universal Studios.
Okay.
And yeah, that's supposed to be Clay, of course. Like, yeah,
Mm.
when I actually people were super curious to know if like, oh, is he wearing like a suit under, it's like, no, that's just like his mutated body, like when he decides to like just go off as that, and people are like, "Oh my god, put the mask back on," and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, that's another reason he wears the mask, so he doesn't freak people out."
Wow.
My bro almost has like the Glasgow smile kind of thing going on, you know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's another thing as well that people said, "Oh, so so the mutual wave is kind of like Stack Shock's to Big Bang." I was like, "Yes, it's a
Mm.
very good." I thought it was like the perfect um kind of like situation to be in. And honestly, I'm like, I wish more people did that. So that was such a cool way to introduce kind of almost um yeah, because really DC created their own X gene mutants, really. And I thought that was a
Right.
great idea. If anything, like Static Shock, right, is the closest to an X gene mutant.
Hmm. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
definitely,
like
dude.
people don't realize it. Though they're, I would just call them like, yeah, no, he's what's the term they're called? Bang babies. Yeah, that's what he
Bang
is.
babies.
Yeah, well, that's what they're calling them. Like
Yeah.
they call it the Big Bang, then called the Bang Baby,
Yeah.
or as
Mhm.
Virgil likes to go while thinking that that term is kind of almost racist. He just calls it metahuman, and I'm like, yeah, that's a usual term for it.
Yeah, because you know the word boomer has already been used. You know.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Let's see here. Let me get rid of this real quick. Wow. Lower the opacity over here. Oh yeah, I dig it. Let me see. No, it looks like
That's the
absolutely
thing. That's
not.
another reason I wanted to do the mutant form is,
Hmm.
oh, if he lost his mask, people still wouldn't be able to figure out who he looked like.
Yeah. Right.
I'm still like trying to gauge, right, if I want to do like maybe an All Might thing where the more damage he gets, maybe his form shrinks. But again, I'm still like that's still in like basically R&D phase.
Right.
Yeah. DC is like DC a bit smarter to turn metahuman planning superpower beings. Yeah, I feel you. Because sometimes like when they do metahuman, sometimes it applies to every being that has like a form of superpower, and sometimes it's like no, they're not. You know,
Mhm.
not you can't call even like if like you can't call Iron Man a metahuman. He's just a guy who wears armor too. Even with the what is it? The that tech virus that he got later in oh
Mhm.
man, I love that arc for Iron Man where he got the trying to remember what was that like virus he got.
Um, which movie was it that Iron Man was on?
Well, if you're talking about that one, that would have been Iron Man 3. But the
Okay.
yeah, trying to remember Extremis, yeah. Or Extremis, yeah.
Oh,
That was
okay.
such a great book, man.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like Warren Ellis. Like I love the art style, love the thing for it. You know, everything was all cool.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. Oh my god. Yeah, man, I have like such nasty brain farts whenever it
Yeah.
comes to these things. But I'm a type of person that I don't really talk that much, but I should,
Oh
especially
God,
with.
it's like I look at my Twitter now. My friends will up and turn my you see my profile picture, turned
Uh
that guy into a fucking JoJo. Yeah. It's like
huh.
I'll DM you. Wait, I'll DM you the tweet. There you go.
Okay.
If you
Okay.
like want to
Definitely,
see it
man.
on Twitter, if you want to show it off, by all means, go ahead. Exactly, Razor. He became a technopath. I
Mm.
thought it was like it was, and I yes, I understand. I know that would have made Tony a little more broken. Hell, he got even more broken later. I don't know how they did it, but they did it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Atom isn't a metahuman. Just like what Ant Man as well. The suit gives him the power.
Right.
Outside of it, yeah, you know, he does his own thing out of it. Granted, like I'd almost would say it's a toughie too, because I could almost put Hank in as a metahuman because he could still use his pim particles outside of his suit. But you know,
Mhm.
it's a really weird thing, you know, with it. Yeah, Captain Atom is a metahuman because he gained like he was reconstructed for science, and now he can basically control like quantum energy and all that.
See, let me check my chat because I've been neglectful.
Yeah,
Let
okay.
me see. Let's see. Yeah, the
Oh,
Atom
yeah.
isn't a meta. Text shrink, but Captain Atom is a metahuman since he gained powers and has reconstructed through. Yeah, no, dude, definitely. Oh man.
Was I had to turn like um off topic. I had to turn the heat down because like I think I
Mhm.
was getting. I don't know if it's like I'm not a doctor or medic whatever, but man, I think like the it got too hot, right? And because of
Right.
my heater, and I'm getting like what's the thing when your lip swells a bit?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
God, like yeah, what is that? I always keep forgetting what that is.
Yeah, you get like chap. Yeah, like your lips gets chappy.
Well, yeah,
Something along that
chappy
way.
too. It's like the
Yeah,
other thing. God, it's like I gotta look this up. Hold on, like
yeah. Go ahead, man. Get like chapped lips or something.
mhm. Oh, maybe like a sore lip or something.
Yeah, but you said it gets dry, right?
Yeah, it's like it's dry now, but then my part of my lip is like swelling a bit.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of like a swollen lip.
Oh, okay.
Or it could be uh a cold sore maybe.
Ooh, yeah. Maybe that is it. I think that's a
Yeah.
cold sore.
Yeah, it's always weird because like it doesn't sometimes like it's so weird because cold sores can like happen when yeah, it could be a heat blister too, maybe. Um
Hmm.
yeah. It's so cool because like what is it? So Kerry like worked on in his things, like he's worked on what was it? He's been working on his own comics as well, but don't worry, like we can like still make the time to do that and whatnot. Like he's done like Team and T, My Hero Academia, not like officially, just fan stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I was like, okay, this is good. So at least like he can like draw the other characters without me worrying about he can't draw this or that, you know.
Hmm.
That ending for the 2012 TMNT, yeah, that was like insane.
But the recent one with Mutant Mayhem.
Uh huh.
Oh, dude, I absolutely love that movie. That was so great. I honestly liked the take that they did, like a new take of it. And honestly, dude, they did a great job. It was like, sometimes like, you're always gonna have like naysayers that say, oh, it's this and that. And at this point, dude, like I'm just at a point where like I just gotta watch it for myself to see even if any of this stuff is true with all these detractors. And once I've watched this movie, I'm like, holy crap, this is great. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I know that they'll say like I don't know, they're detractors, and some people they'll believe it and they're never ever gonna watch it because someone influenced them not to watch it. But for me, dude, like I'm a type of person that I have my own thoughts and opinions on things, and whether they'll like it or not, like I gotta at least see for myself if this is true or not, you know?
Oh,
Oh yeah, this glass shine is gonna give a nice gonna be a nice little take. Um, oh my god, what happened? I just lowered the opacity down and like
oh,
it
that's
just
fine.
disappeared on me. I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah, that was like that. Okay, it's like might just be me, right? I know
Hmm.
with the IDW TMNT, the whole like I'll say Mutant City arc is like I love and hate it because I love like uh a legit society of mutants in New York City with their
Right.
thing, but god damn the furries were just eating that shit up for breakfast.
Dude, when yeah, man, it became a furry book once they killed Splinter, and then like it was just I don't know, it was just unrecognizable.
Watch, like people are gonna call like Clayman a furry book, and it's like, dude, like, isn't Clayman like kind of like a human mutant, dude? Why are you surrounding him with animals? Uh,
Yeah, man. I don't know. At this point, I think for my book, Pro Wrestling Gators, I think is going to be under the furry category. Even though most of the characters that they're going to be surrounded with is going to be humans, they're just going to be the only freaking, I guess, radioactive freaking gators around that world. So um,
mhm.
definitely, I think they'll be under the furry book category. But I don't know, man. I'll say this, like honestly, these furry artists, like they're as close as art quality to like a Disney film, I'm like, my God, man.
And not to mention, like, oh, they actually sometimes write. It take it from my friend Brett too.
Right.
Is that especially like fucking yeah? You know his artist. He actually does like porn. Yeah. So there's two surprising artists that you'd be surprised, like especially if they're multi-talented, but this is more like their main style. It's like you got the furry artist and the porn artist. Like if you tell them to draw something else, it's like, yeah, sure, I could do it, and they do, and you're like, oh shit, you know?
Well, what was it? I know it was the creator of Rags that he said, how you have a artist that can do anatomy accurately, And I remember it was on Tyler's stream too. Is like, oh, like what? Just find like hentai artists, and you'll know that their proportions and anatomy is gonna be on point. I'm like, oh my god.
Uh,
It's hilarious of his take, but it's so true at the same time. It's like,
yeah.
my god, man.
Yeah, even then, like there are like rags artists, like what's his name, Luigi is like an amazing artist.
Oh my god, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
He's
let's
like
see.
the most.
Honestly, I did like Mutant Mayhem. That's probably like God. That's like probably my second or third favorite TMNT property, next to
Mhm.
like maybe 2012 and the '03 series.
Yeah, right.
It's like I could give it like maybe top like I would put maybe Rise at number 4, number 5. It's got great action and animation. The story writing though is kind of because like literally they decided, oh, let's just take Michelangelo and then put times 4. There's 4
Uh
Michelangelos in this fucking you know
huh.
like I'm sorry, say what you will, but none of
Mhm.
them act like they're supposed to. They all act like Michelangelo.
Right. I mean, I honestly like their new take on the turtles because they actually act like teenagers and not like fully grown, um almost
Adults.
like, yeah, exactly, like adults bodies, you know. It's like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, I'll say that. Let's be clear. Yeah, especially like 03, especially like
Oh my god.
they act. It's like they're good characters. Don't get me wrong, but they act
Right.
like they're full grown adults. Then you
Yeah,
got
man.
2012 did a little bit better than Raw. Like especially too. You cannot tell me like Raph is like not a full grown adult at that point. He's huge. Like I remember first time I got so mad. I'm like, Raph is huge. And funny enough, he's like the second shortest turtle in the 2012 series.
Uh-huh.
Um especially that's why I like Mutant Mayhem so much because they're actual like I'll say early teenagers like 12, 13.
Hmm.
Almost, especially Donnie. Donnie's my favorite. Like,
Yeah.
given the squeak voice.
Yeah, dude. I love the voice actors because they're actually teenage voice actors, and there's like, I think I might have recognized. Yeah, I recognize one voice actor, and funny enough, the voice actor for Leonardo was the same voice actor
Yep.
for the Adventures of Gumball. I'm like, my God, man.
Yeah. It's so weird to hear um like you know Gumball with like a teenager's voice, but hey, it's cool.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's like, at least for the voice actor, he's pretty much on point on brand. Like, he just basically voiced another blue character. So, you know, um, man, but yeah, dude. I mean, there were some Easter eggs that I felt like it was forced on the movie, like when Superfly basically says like, "Oh, was it? I think I was just cruising down the street or something." No, it's not even that. It was just basically like it was basically a reference of one of Ice Cube's songs, and I'm like, well, that was forced, you know. That was the only thing I felt like it was forced, but everything else, it just, it was just a nice nod. So I gotta ask you, Ty.
I thought it was like a funny as fuck creative choice to make like Donnie sound younger than Michelangelo. That was again, but granted, remember this is Seth Rogen here. His kind of style of comedy is like always the kind of thing. That's all he does. That's all he thinks that's funny.
Hey man, I'm surprised there's not one sneaked in joke about weed or anything, because this dude loves his
Yeah.
cannabis.
I was
So
like, also too, I'll give credit to Rogan. He let basically, what was it? He let Ice Cube like, oh man, if he like, I'm glad he didn't say it, but man, if he wanted to say the N word, I would imagine Seth Rogen would have allowed it.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, like in oh sorry, you meant to say yeah, improvise some scenes. I could see it, especially fucking Ice Cube, man. I mean, because like I'll say it, if I remember correctly, he cursed a lot in this movie. Surprisingly,
God. Oh man, I don't know. I gotta watch that movie again. He. I doubt he cursed, but maybe like the outtakes, they gotta be like,
Mm.
okay,
There's some yeah, like I'll tell you, like there's some like almost like perfect voice actors in this. Like yeah, Ice Cube did really well, and then you had um, God, what was it? Like freaking Jackie Chan is
yeah, dude.
wow, that
I
was
honestly,
nice.
that was a great casting. Like I would never think in a million years where I'll freaking see Jackie Chan voice Splinter. Like he honestly got like the right amount of talent that I don't
Hmm.
know. I honestly would not have thought. But anyways, yeah, no, that was a great cast that did it. I just gotta now ask you, Clay.
Sure, of course.
Uh, faded or non-faded?
Well, it's like if I had to choose, like, right,
Mhm.
I would probably do Faded because I just
Yeah,
like, let's see,
just
felt like a fan, felt. Oh, let's see. Trying to read this right. Jackie Chan felt like a fan cast, a good fan cast. Yeah, it was always in the back of my mind. That's like, you know what, he could be a good Splinter, but I actually hear him now, and I'm like, okay. Interestingly enough, I think they took a Rise approach, where right in this one, Splinter isn't more a middle-aged man; he's like an older man.
yeah,
Not the first
yeah,
time Jackie Chan voiced Amy Rat. I mean, he voiced a monkey. I know that.
yeah. From Kung Fu Panda.
Uh huh. When did he
Um,
voice a rat?
yeah, right. I want to remember that
It's like I
movie.
gotta look this up now.
Yeah, right. Look it up now.
Let's see. Animated. Oh yeah, Amy Rolls. You know what? The one thing I'm surprised as, like,
What?
right? Jackie Chan Adventures. Why didn't he voice himself?
Yeah, right. I
I
guess they
know.
just didn't have the. I guess. Well, remember, his freaking Jackie Chan is he might be super busy doing his movies as well. So I mean,
Uh,
as far as he can do is he could do like at least short message clips of him like sharing his message of inspiration like every other Saturday morning cartoon. It's like yeah, we're violent, but you know we're giving you solid advice of life.
yeah. Oh, let's see. Let's see. John Cena's Rocksteady felt even more like a fan cast. I didn't. Yeah, right. I heard him and I did not recognize his voice at all
Yeah, right.
personally.
Yeah, no, honestly, like I once I heard Rocksteady's when it was John Cena, like I did not and I've heard like John Cena's like voicing voice acting and all this stuff and yeah, man, like he was like that type of voice you would not even recognize even if you put his name attached to it. But you can never see him.
I forgot he was in like that PlayStation 1 game, Jackie Chan Stunt Master, where he's all like blocky.
Oh my god.
Uh,
Jeez, man.
let's see. Trying to see. Let's see. Quite Crazy Mess Splinter was his Uber version of Jackie Chan in Rise. I thought like right, like it was something soup. I think that's his like that was his name in Rise. But I thought it was more like oh he was Bruce Lee supposed to inspire, not Jackie Chan. You know.
Hmm. Right.
I mean, honestly too. I thought like what is it? The interesting idea was like um what is it was it so they took it like in a hot soup, yeah, hot soup, and then I was gonna say to people, so what did you guys feel, right, that they took a completely different approach to how with the mutations and whatnot, because remember in Rise there, as far as I remember, I mean, okay, yeah, the crime we're in one of the, okay, I'll give credit, the Rise movie, that was
Yeah.
amazing,
That
that
was
was
dude. Oh my
the
gosh, dude.
Krang
That was
were like, bro,
phenomenal.
how do you make the Krang like deadly with or without their suits. Like that's how deadly they were. And then
Dude.
you had, I love that they kept them that they were like aliens still, but like
Mhm.
in the Rise one, it's more of a they get their powers almost via mysticism, not like being alien ooze almost.
Right? Yeah, no, that was honestly like I think that was one of the things like I remember when even they first came out, like nobody was a big fan of like the character interpretation. Hell, I will admit it, like I was not a big fan of the character designs of them, but my god, man, like once you actually see them move and animated, honestly, like that was honestly the best animated show I've seen in the longest time, especially like and I guess they did it differently too where like instead of like being an ongoing series like every other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, like they pretty much like did it in a way where like it's just shorts of different stories along
Hmm.
along those lines. And yeah, man, I mean, um, sorry, dude, I'm just so happy how this is looking so far. um, but yeah, no, dude, like I honestly like the new take of the Turtles from Rise. I mean, there were a few choices where I was like, eh, but I know they did the fixes once the movie came out.
Oh yeah,
And
especially it felt like that's what I'm saying with the movie. I was like, man, why couldn't the show be this like good like writing wise?
yeah, right. I mean, I think that was the only thing is like I guess they changed it to making it more like shorts than an
I know, right?
actual.
That's what it felt. Yeah, villains were kind of mid. Yeah, I mean, it's like I understand they tried to do the whole like rogues gallery, but man, like that was like some of some of the weakest let's see. Unfortunately, that was like some of the weakest like villains I ever seen. I mean, come on, they got like a freaking worm dude, and then they got Neo Star. Don't ever mention Next Mutation ever. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's what I'm gonna say next. Like, what's mid, Rise or Next Mutations? Because Saban always finds ways to cut corners of not paying for like
I would say
royalties of other
I would say
characters.
that for Power Rangers too, but that's like for specific like Power Rangers shows. Not all the shows were mid. Yeah, but Next Mutation was like me. It was like mediocre. I was like, oh
I re-
god, you know.
I remember watching like the Next Mutation. I know y'all might not like me, but I'm like the minority that actually enjoyed it. I've watched it again as like having fresh eyes of watching it again when it was on Netflix, and I'm like, my God, man, I didn't miss a beat when I was watching it. I maybe missed one episode, and I think it was like the vampires characters, and I was like, my God, man, this is. I don't know. There was just so many things that I was like, wow, this literally came over my head when I was watching this as a kid because there was just so many innuendos that I doubt any adult would even acknowledge.
There was oh god, yeah, and not to mention like and yeah, I'm gonna do the typical one. Is that did we really need a female turtle? Like really?
hmm
Like
hmm
like and I'll give credit though, they had like a really good like Power Rangers in space crossover. That was
Oh my
nice.
God, that was dude. I
Um
fell in love. That's my all-time favorite episode. Um,
yeah, people
fun.
were like, when are you gonna do this for Clayman and Pony Wars? And I'm like, it's like, oh, I get it. It sounds good on paper, like it would work, but you gotta give me a sec.
Yeah, man. No,
She was
definitely.
fine, kind of Venus, yeah. What the fuck kind of name is Venus? I'm sorry for a turtle.
Venus.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, was she supposed?
basically,
Yeah, was
his
that
name.
supposed to be like a female artist? Like, right? Because the turtles' names are based off of like Italian artists. I've never heard of a
Exactly.
Venus. I never heard of a Venus
Venus
artist.
del Milo. Like that artist. That I
Maybe,
don't
yeah,
know.
maybe,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Venus de Milo is the. I don't know if he's Italian, but
Yeah.
he's definitely a well famous painter in that rogues gallery of painters. But yeah, I mean that's the only name that I know for a fact because I guess
Yeah, of course, of course.
they can fudge their way into like of a close of a female name. Um, yeah, no, I was honestly I dig the idea of a female turtle. I think the only thing that really like shook me as a kid and got me so confused and maybe angry at the same time was like because at some
Oh, it's a
point
sculpture. Oh,
they were forcing this way of like a love triangle that all these these brothers are hitting on basically whether or not is
you
related
know
to
that? Yeah,
them.
you know that meme with the with the white woman and the strong dudes in the
Uh-huh.
back. That's
Oh my
basically what they
gosh,
were doing.
dude.
I'm
No.
sorry, right?
Why you
That's
gotta
what the
give me
show.
this image, man?
That's what the show, right? But you gotta, right? It's like now that you're an adult, you kind of understand that's what they were doing
Hmm.
with Venus.
Oh my god,
Venus any
dude.
better than Jenica? Oh, don't even if we're talking about fucked up love interest, don't even get me started on 2012's Leo and her sister. That's her sister,
Wait,
bro.
wait, wait. So Jenica is bio. I don't know. I know that there's a fifth turtle female in this Jenica, but she's biologically like Leo's sister.
Well, no, I'm talking the 2020 12 series, not the ID not the IDW
Uh-huh.
comic. I mean, well, that's like if you're talking about Jenica, that's more of a She-Hulk thing. They weren't cousins, like she mutated because they had to give her blood.
Hmm.
Well, no, yeah, the 20, yeah, Karai, yeah, basically, that's what I'm saying
Right.
because Karai is the biological daughter of Splinter, and
Yeah.
because like with the whole DNA mutation thing, they share Splinter's like 50%, almost like a 50-50 kind of thing.
Right.
So, that's why it's like, ugh, you know. Yeah, say sister half sister. It doesn't matter. That's technically freaking incest right there. You know.
I mean,
Okay, so Leo didn't know when he got dropped. Okay, yeah, because I need to rewatch like 2012 TMNT.
uh-huh. Yeah, but yeah, no, dude. Yeah, no. So back to what I was saying, like the thing that kind of like got shook me as a kid and like it got me so mad confused was when, Leo was hitting on Venus and like I don't know, at some point it's like she's I don't know, at some point like Leo says, "Oh no, like we're not actually brothers." It's like we were both were hatched in different like nests. So I'm like, "Wait, hold up. So you mean to tell me the past decades that I've learned since the cartoons and the 1990 movie that you guys aren't biological brothers? You guys were
I know.
hatched
It's
in
like
different nets. Oh my
I
gosh.
know it was like it's very weird. Yeah, like for me personally, I always go the idea that they are brothers, like biologically.
Yeah, dude. It's like, and that got so much to now, like, now that we have the internet, but my God, that had so much backlash.
Yeah, I always thought the 2012, like the way the mutation worked was like, they were exposed to a splinter, right? And that's like what made them like partially human. So technically
Right.
he has, or you could argue as well it's with the rise TMNT that
Hmm.
like he shared his DNA with the turtles. Like I was perfectly fine with that. Makes it more like clear that hey, this is their dad now, you know.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Imagine
Um,
trying to retcon the TNT's familial bond and justify them hitting on Venus. Man.
oh man. Yeah, no,
Oh,
that's
let's see. So yeah, I still want to answer like was it Gar's thing about like it's like, what did we think of like Shredder or specifically Rise Shredder? I thought he was great. Like he was next to the '03 Shredder, he was terrifying.
Yeah, dude.
Like
I agree.
literally, he's a fucking demonic spirit. He was human, but now he's a demonic spirit possessing demonic armor, basically.
Yeah, definitely. I do like the Rise take. Like they didn't go to Shredder so quick. I mean, everyone had expectations and asking when is Shredder gonna appear, but I did like Rise
I
take.
know they set him up so well, and like same with Mutant Mayhem, they're setting
Oh
him
my
up like
god,
super well right
definitely,
now.
dude. I totally agree. So I mean, honestly, dude. Like again, I'm very open with new interpretations as long as they are faithful to them. And I think with turtles, they're so easy to adapt and be faithful. I mean, they've done it within decades now. There's always going to be new interpretations of the turtles that fans are easily going to open up to, just as long as they're faithful. I know that. I think the only gripe from Mutant Mayhem was like, Donatello wasn't really like, the super techie kid that we know, or super awkward and is introverted. But I mean, since he's a teenager, it's like
Mhm.
you really don't. I don't know. I honestly didn't felt that way with Donatello because again, like
Oh,
you know,
like which version of him?
the Mutant Mayhem, because I remember there were
Yeah.
few people who reviewed the movie saying like, "Oh, like Donatello doesn't feel like Donatello," but
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
everyone's like it's like he's what is it? It's also like MLP fans say it's like he's like the Applejack, and why by that it means like he's so forgettable that no one even knows like he's like he's so
Yeah, definitely, dude. I mean,
Donnie became a
what?
weep. Yep, that is true. That's true. Let's
I
see.
mean, that's a best interpretation of Donnie you could tell within modern day is that he's a weeb. I honestly agree.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, even the ending.
especially Rise, Donnie. I'll give credit. I really like Rise Donnie. He's like really cool, even though once again, like to be clear, he does take a bit from his brother Michelangelo.
Yeah, no, honestly, I love Donnie as a character. Like, I love Donnie since day one. But once I
I know
saw
I
like
used to be
new,
a Raph fan, now I'm a Donnie fan more.
yeah. Oh wow, what made you
Yeah.
converted to Raph to
I think
Donnie
just
now?
because like I love the way he fights and I love like he's not as strong as like Raph, or he's not, of course, like you know about it, of course. He's not as strong as Raph, he's not as in like battles strategic as Leo, and he's not as like talented, gifted as Michelangelo, but like what was it? It was but of course he had his smarts, and that's like what made him like special.
Mm,
Especially like later, like especially with Rise. Remember, before then, he opted to use just his tech to keep up with his brothers who had mystical weaponry, and he still kept up with them.
yeah, definitely, man. I totally
Let's see.
agree.
Speaking of let's see, any occultist or magic oriented stuff happening, in Clayman's future. Those usually outside force. Yeah, like I mean, I introduced Magic Town, so literally, I told people about this years ago. So, yep, there's gonna be weird magic stuff happening.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think like too. Um, what are your thoughts of like the Michael Bay's TMNT? Because I honestly liked it. I don't know what was like people's
I
hate on it.
personally I know like I know I mean they look like Shreks, and not to steal from that mayhem joke. They look like little Shreks.
Oh my
Now they
god.
were like huge Shreks.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, dude. Like I can understand like the gripe was like these are big hulking turtles.
Remember that
So it's
like
like
yeah,
why they
remember
need to
that
be
like
ninjas.
yeah, remember that like little animated shorts they did where they traveled to the other dimensions, and then you saw
Oh
like
my
them when
god, dude.
they were like big, tall, muscular. Yeah, Michael Bay saw that. I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's do that, but not make it animated. let's make it let's make it that they're live action.
Oh my god.
I personally, I'll say this. I hated the first one. I kind of enjoyed the second one. And
Yeah.
and no, do not ask why Green Arrow was in it and he looked nothing like Casey Jones.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly liked the Michael Bay TMNT. I know the second one, like I got to watch a bit of it, but yeah, the second one definitely has a lot of fan service, and the first one was basically rushed because Michael Bay literally was the only dude that literally was going to change the whole continuity of the Turtles, so he had to literally scrap everything he thought of. Like the Turtles were literally going to be aliens in this story, but since he had so much backlash that they were like no. And even you could tell who Shredder was originally going to be in this film. They made it so obvious, but then everything was so last minute. Everything was stripped out of even before it was going to be Ninja Turtles. It wasn't going to be Mutant Teenage Ninja Turtles until you can even see in the logo is there's Teenage Mutant in small words, but Ninja Turtles emphasize very big, just to say F you got what you wanted, but it's still Ninja Turtles to me. Oh man. Oh, Clay I guess he got booted. It's all good. Let's see. Getting a lot of new faces here. What's up, Gartoons? I really like that icon of yours, dude. Did you draw it yourself? I didn't hate nor like the second one. That's so funny. He was gonna be the Shredder, yet people hated that. I mean, it made it obvious, dude. Obvious. I honestly wouldn't be against Fitchner being Shredder. If Jim Carrey can play Eggman, fine, so can Fincher. Right? Honestly. Iglis, I actually respected your opinion on TMNT a bit more now. You don't seem to hold a present preference going into most of these TMNT adaptations. Oh, well, thank you, Neil. I'm glad that you like it. Oh,
yeah, it's
what's up, Clay?
Yeah, no, it wasn't you. I thought your Wi-Fi got cut out. Turned out it was my Wi-Fi that got cut out. It was
okay.
Yeah. Oh, it might have been. It's not bad here in Jersey right now. It might just be very randomly in very long interval periods of time. Oh, wait, let's see. So, anyways, let me read the chat so I can catch up. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was talking about I was talking about the alien stuff. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Turtles were aliens is Bay. No, not Bay. The fans are like, oh no, please make them turtles, and that's kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely, no, dude. I never seen again. This is fans since the freaking 80s. So I think I'm thinking back now since 2012. The fans are in their 30s, and I was in college. No, actually, it was 2013 when that movie came out. So
yeah, I was a teen myself when that movie came out.
Yeah, so at least for me, the millennials, we were in our early 20s, and then Turtle Mania when they were kids, they were in their 30s or mid 30s, So, oh my god, it was just so bad. I remember,
and especially now, remember that they're what was it? It's the Black and White Turtles comic too. Man, there's even older fans,
dude. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I honestly did not even.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's fine. Comics. It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I honestly didn't know they were comics until I think, God, I think when I actually was starting to read comics was when I found out, like in 2018, there was like a comic book version of it, and they killed Shredder like literally in the first issue. So I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, it's like, yeah, those pizza loving dudes. Yeah, no, they're actually assassins, and they were actually there to, avenge their masters. Like Splinter literally trained them to kill like his, Shredder. So I
His
mean,
rival, basically.
yeah, like he literally trained them to be killers to kill his rival. I see.
And there was oh God, what was it? There was trying to think of that one. Like for the specific version. Um, yeah, Mirage. Yeah, there
Yeah,
was
Mirage. Yeah, you spelled it right, dude. Let me see.
it's the
Okay,
original
so your
Mark.
name is G Air Tunes.
Oh,
Okay, dude,
nice.
I could totally relate, dude. Whenever I go to streams, everyone will call me Itchy5, like it's a freaking plague. It's like, it's so funny. I would like my funny jab would be like, oh, I blame Tyler
GR
because he
tunes.
misread my name. It's like now everyone calls me Itchy, but
Yeah,
I
itchy
know.
like almost like Ichigo kind of thing.
Yeah, I wish it would be that cool, but no, it's just itchy.
You know,
But
like itchy. Oh, I got an itch on the back crack of my ass.
yeah, right. I got a nasty
I
itch
got a
within
nice and
five,
mute.
But yeah, dude.
Think
All
of the
right,
fortress.
Fortress. Let me see.
Garrison.
Curse American Internet Infrastructure.
I know.
Hey
Yeah.
man, at least some point, at least the
Yeah,
internet
I
won.
got like what is it, the Verizon one? That's like I don't even have files. I use like the
Mhm.
lower end one. Like I use the what is it? Not the 5G, it's like the lower end of 5G, like 2G or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Man, I gotta go through all this, but
Yeah, the
that's
team also
great.
want to be left alone. Leo was like at the time
Mhm.
he decapitated the shredder.
Oh Jesus.
You know, yeah. Oh well, but then like plot twist, the one they were the dude that like was coming in and stuff. Oh yeah, it's like always an Utrom,
Uh-huh.
and that's how he was able to survive. Because technically, if he would have was smart, he would have stabbed him in the stomach.
Yeah.
That's where he was. But yeah, I'm trying to think. If you had to tell me honestly, out of all of them, which one was like the most baddest or like who fucked them up the most? Probably. I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna be honest. Like probably 2012 Shredder. Like he fucked them up and he killed Splinter. He's the only, as far as I know, he's one of the only. He's one of the. I'll say main, not alternate universe. That doesn't count. He's one of the
Mhm.
main Shredders to have killed Splinter, and they kept that.
Wow. Yeah, no, dude, like, oh my god. Yeah, dude. I honestly loved like Michael Bay's interpretation of Splinter because it was so freaking good, man. Like so good. I also feel like
I
too,
mean,
like
but he looks disgusting though. Let's be
yeah,
real. Like, I
no,
mean,
that's the thing. I
he's a
mean
giant fucking rat. I'd
I
punt that.
mean,
I'd punt that
what
motherfucker
else do you
here to New
expect?
Jersey.
What do you expect, man? They're in a freaking sewer. It's not like they're in a spa, where they're gonna have great moisturized skin and having the
Yeah, if
greatest
anything, like
fragrance.
'03 Shredder was dangerous because he always like somehow came back. I mean, like I think like at the time they thought, oh, he was human. They find out he was an Utrom. Then later he came back as like funny enough a demonic spirit before the Rise one did, and he was somehow a dragon, which was very cool but very weird. And
Mm,
yeah, and then I think that's when they finally killed him off.
yeah, right. No, dude. Like honestly, dude, if Michael Bay could make a film of any comic book adaptation, I think Michael Bay and Rob Liefeld will be best friends, dude. I am not even kidding,
Rob
man. It's
Liefeld.
like they like big muscular dudes. They love weapons,
Wait,
freaking
big muscular
pouches,
dudes, but their legs,
explosions, bro. They're
they
gonna be
skipped leg
best
day.
friends.
They skipped leg and foot day though.
I swear, dude. I swear. I think I don't know, man.
Yeah,
It's like I
2012
honestly,
Splinter was peak in terms of his design.
mm,
Like he
definitely.
actually looked like to me like a tall rat man that actually looked taller than his sons, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, definitely, dude. I just know that the one that really like took a huge turn of events. I swear, man, we just turned Clayman stream to a TMNT
Yeah,
podcast. But
doing everything. Yeah.
but yeah, the one that took a huge turn of Splinter's like identity and stuff like that was honestly Rise. Because like now like Splinter's like a couch potato. So I'm like, what is this? I mean, he's hilarious, I'll say that much. Like I is like he's hilarious, but it's like a huge change of like who Splinter is. And honestly with Rise, like they did do changes like the whole thing when that 1990s song when they say like, oh, rap is a leader, and that was like I was so mad confused as a
All
kid,
right.
but
Remember when we first saw that together and we were like, man, this thing sucks. Like their designs are way too different. They have new
Mhm.
weapons. Like, really, man? At least in the O Free series and whatnot, they had those cool ass medallions that changed their weapons. That's
Oh
cool.
hell
That
yeah.
was like a cool little temporary arc thing they were doing to fight Demon Shredder, you know. But
Definitely.
let's see, random question. What'd you two think of the FNAF movie? Um, I know people are gonna get mad or whiny about it. I would call it the Morbius of video game movies.
Mm,
And what do I mean by that? It's somehow both mediocre and boring at the same time.
really?
Yeah.
Hmm. I don't know. I
Like
haven't
believe
seen
me,
FNAF.
I tried. I'm a
Mhm.
bit of a lore nut with FNAF. I love like the world and the lore and all that stuff. But man, like and I feel it sucks because I love the look of the animatronics. I love the set designs and all that
Mhm.
stuff, but man, I don't I just don't care for it at
Mhm.
all.
Okay. Yeah, no, I honestly haven't seen FNAF. I mean, I have like a somewhat of a good grip of what the story is, and I haven't played the games, but I have a good idea of the lore. So I mean, I
Mhm.
gotta watch it for myself, and then maybe dive deep. But I mean, as far as how I've seen in the trailer and the production and how faithful the designs are, surprisingly, especially that they did like a spoof movie of FNAF with Nicolas Cage. So I guess
Yeah, like
like
was it it was either Willy's Wonderland or Wally's Wonderland.
I think it's
I think
Wally's
very
Wonderland.
good. Yeah, very good movie. I think people need to watch that.
Yeah, definitely. So
Because
I felt like
if you ever that
Mhm.
weird ass fantasy, right, of like, oh, I want someone to beat the fuck out of the FNAF animatronics, watch that movie. It fulfills every fantasy I wanted out of it, and I love it.
Mm, I agree with Neo. To be fair, Clayman would have a dope crossover with TMNT.
Yeah.
I definitely would
You know what
see
they need to do personally? If
what,
speaking of crossover TMNT, they need to do a Daredevil crossover because
bro.
fun fact, the
Yeah.
more like yeah, because fun fact, the chemicals that blinded Matt were the same that were with the turtles, at least in one like I think particular universe.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, they've the Turtles book was basically a spoof of Daredevil. All right, trust me, everyone, including their grandmothers, wants to see this crossover before they die in their life. It's like one of
Mm.
those top number one crossovers that
I
needs
mean,
to
hell,
happen.
if fucking Batman could get a crossover, like
Right?
I don't know why can't these guys get it?
Yeah, right. I mean that like honestly, like if you could cross over Batman, at least cross over a Batman copy from Stan Lee. That honestly is the reason why the Turtles even exist in the first place.
Yep, Nicolas Cage was the FNAF Doomslayer. Yeah, it adds to it. He never like said a word usually too in that movie, so
Hmm.
it adds
Oh
to it.
wow, that's great.
I think like it. Okay, let's see. If Clay ever used a weapon, what would you give him? I would do it
Mm,
like. Oh, this is a really good question. I
good
would.
question.
I know like the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon sucked, but I would definitely take it from heart that like Clay wouldn't get a weapon. He just his words would be the weapon.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, so he could wisecrack. It's like, absolutely. Absolutely. He just annoyed the fuck out of someone.
That's great. Oh man, I think honestly, dude, I'm pretty satisfied of how this looks. So I
Uh-huh.
mean, I'm gonna end the stream here. But I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
any
totally.
final questions,
That's totally
dudes?
oh yeah, yeah. I was gonna say too. So if you guys got any final questions, we'll try to keep on topic. Like
Yeah,
if you guys got any final questions for me about what Clayman and whatnot, or my other comics, please put them in. Yeah, we'll give you like maybe 5-10 minutes to put your questions
yeah,
in, and then
definitely.
after that, we're probably gonna go. I gotta go eat, and I'm gonna pass out because I gotta go to the gym. Gotta keep my gains.
Oh, awesome, dude. How long have you been going to the gym?
Oh, God. Uh, as far as I know, oh, let's see, 2-3 years maybe. That's
Oh, that's
yeah.
great.
It's hard to. Oh, who can win in a fight, Clayman or Deadpool? That is a good question.
That's a great question.
Let's see. Okay, so if we're going by like similar to Spider-Man's thing, with his well, if we're going base Spidey and then like versus like Deadpool, so Clay is like at least I would say 2 to 3 times stronger than base Spidey, and this is like Spidey if he's not like at his like oh he's being pushed kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, I could say like maybe Clay could take Deadpool, but like just beat the crap out of him, knock him out. He wouldn't be able to kill him if that's like how it was. Maybe when in a fight, huge maybe. I know people would say like he's almost and I kind of like I was doing a Marvel tabletop RPG thing with Clay, and man, he's like a low level speedster if he
Mm,
wanted to. Yeah.
wow,
How much can Clayman lift? At his max, 25 tons.
wow, nice.
Yeah. I keep saying, okay, off topic. Yes, I do think if people say, "Oh, I need to get back my workout routine," please do. It helps out so much.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I'm like, if you feel lousy or feel bloaty, fatty, and shit, yeah, just go to the gym. You
Yeah, no,
know,
definitely, dude. I
like
totally
if
agree.
anything, yeah, if anything, 3 times a week at least helps you out so much. You don't have to do it like me. Like I do it like 5 times a weekend. And
That's
believe me,
great.
no, I wouldn't ask of anyone unless they're in the serious, unless you're like a gym bro or you're like um
Right.
or I mean pro guy. Yeah, like don't do like 7 times a week. Just do like free at the least 5 at the most. I would say give yourself at least 2 day a 2 day rest period.
Yeah, definitely, dude. And honestly, too, like even for people that maybe like started working out within those 3 days and they feel like, because I even hear like a few people complain, like like they're sore and that their body hurts. Like, okay, like one is your body's trying to get used to it, or two, maybe you push yourself hard, so maybe your body needs to recover. I recommend take amino acid because, dude, when you take amino acid, it just helps your body relax and you're going to recover like faster, and it's going to help with your muscle growth.
Oh yeah, especially like I remember this one time
Mhm.
I refused to take a day off from the gym, but I ate like a ton of food. And
Oh, that's great.
yeah, I
Mhm.
don't want to do TMI, but like yeah, too much information, but like oh, I had to go to the bathroom, right? So
Yeah.
it's like don't worry, I'm not gonna go into explicit details, but
Right,
like
of
I
course.
went to the gym, I did in the treadmill, I finished that up, went to the bathroom, did all good. I was covered head to toe in sweat. My um my skin like basically was like paper sheet white as a ghost.
Wow.
And I was like doing like bicep curls and man, I passed out and then I woke
Oh,
up
shoot.
and I was like, yeah, I definitely see that. Okay, yeah, that's an example of pushing yourself too far, or at least like telling myself, hey, rest a bit, go to the bathroom, then walk to the gym, because I walk to and from there too as well.
Mm, right.
Uh-huh.
Oh man. Um,
Okay, so I think like what is it? Yeah, I think it's okay to wrap up now.
yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, no, it was awesome talking with you, Clay, especially now just hearing your voice than, just talking through text, It's pretty
Uh-huh.
awesome. All right, dude. So thank you all for watching the stream since beginning to end, or even like watching a replay. I do appreciate it. And just seeing new faces too. I hope I'll see you guys in the next stream when I do these coloring streams.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, dudes, you guys ooze of excellence, and as always, and remember to stay excellent.
Ooze. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So see you later, guys. Oh yeah. If like